Let's go to this conversation now. The Public Protector Kholeka Gcaleka has released the damning report on the construction of the Leicester Stadium in the Eastern Cape. The nearly 23 million rand facility was built near Komani in 2019, but various groups raised objections about the cost and poor quality of the stadium. An investigation by the Public Protector's Office has revealed serious procurement problems involving the Newzroom Afrika municipality. Let's now speak to the Public Protector, Advocate Kholeka Gcaleka. Advocate Gcaleka, very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making time for us. Before we go into the nitty-gritties of the report and what the Public Protector has found, from your assessment, would you say that the people of the Newzroom Afrika local municipality got value for money, considering that 22 million rand was spent on this project?
Good morning, Aldrin, and good morning to the News Africa viewers. Definitely not. And of course, it's not my personal view. It is out of the investigations that we have conducted. It's very clear. But also, just when you observe the stadium itself, we have done 2 inspections in local at the stadium. It's very clear that that stadium is non-functional. So there can't be value for money if it can't even be of use to the people of that area.
Yeah, and what does this then highlight in considering, as an example, the tender itself being approved by CoGTA at around 18 million rand, but when the tender is advertised, it is advertised at above that amount at around 22 million rand.
It's very clear that the planning, even from inception, for the advertisement of the tender was not proper, was also not regular, because they should have stayed within budget when approving that tender. And also, the advertisement of the tender was not in line with the supply chain management policy of the very same municipality. So it is clear that from the onset, there was maladministration in this advertisement.
Yeah, and with the findings as well, is that the maladministration is at various levels, including, if you take into consideration, the forensic report investigating some of the allegations, which wasn't tabled in time by the MEC of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Zolile Williams.
Yes, in this regard, I think the part of the MEC is him not taking full steps in regard of his powers, when such irregularities come to his attention. I mean, he knew of them even with the interim report that was provided by the attorneys who did the forensic report. And I think, considering that this is public money, from that point, he shouldn't have waited for the final report, really, to ensure that some action is taken. And when the final report was at his disposal, he again didn't take action. It is through the Public Protector's investigations and continuous probing that the matter was ultimately tabled at the municipality last year. And up to today, it has not been tabled before the legislature. So really, the part on the MEC is trying to show the executives that where there's maladministration, no services have been delivered, public money has been spent, it is a serious issue, and the executive ought to take action as required of them by the regulations.
Yeah, the final handing over of the project was also signed off by various officials, even though they knew that it did not meet the specifications of the tender. And I see that the report indicates that Treasury would have been involved in that as well. Please help us understand the involvement of Treasury and also the signing off of that project, and whether or not Treasury itself should have sounded the alarm.
Well, Treasury was not involved in the sign-off. The sign-off is the municipality itself. It would be a project manager who would actually qualified that the project has been delivered in line with the specifications, due assessment was conducted, and they are satisfied of that. Treasury releases the money. It's the monitoring on the part of the Treasury when releasing the money. So when looking at such a project, as you said from the beginning, that it exceeded the budget that was allocated, it should have been an alarm to the Treasury. At the part where the project was actually even halted because the municipality was not compliant with the environmental impact assessment, it should have raised an alarm, because how do you even start a construction without full compliance with the required prescripts? So there is a responsibility that is put on Treasury in respect of spending, of the public purse, and they should have taken action in that regard.
Yeah. The other remedial action is that the Hawks, the Directorate of Special Crimes, also be investigating some of the allegations that have been made. Just to use a popular phrase, follow the money. The report refers to suspicious payments that were made. This is now from the company that was awarded the tender to construct the stadium. Just explain to us what the Public Protector found in relation to these suspicious payments.
Firstly, what we found is that from the bank statement of this company is that there's no money transacted that indicates that any material or any payment was made in respect of the construction of the stadium. So if you're a company and you are paid to perform a certain service, or you are performing a certain service, you should obviously make certain transactions, paying certain other companies for certain material, paying employees, etc. But in this regard, there was no such transaction. Instead, there was transactions into trust accounts, many other transactional activities to other beneficiaries. I mean, immediately when that money was paid to them by the municipality. So which really raised the suspicion that there's more than meets the eye in respect of this tender, the money of this tender, which really we have now referred to the Hawks to probe further. But they are also busy with this investigation.
Yeah, and with that said, also, PP, in your report you state that this would be a matter that the Hawks would have to investigate, because the PP doesn't have jurisdiction, for instance, to follow the money into the bank accounts of these various beneficiaries. What are the limitations in terms of the powers of the Public Protector in this regard, considering that here we're speaking about public funds that would have gone to so-called beneficiaries, and we don't know whether these beneficiaries are officials linked to the municipality or government, whether provincial or local?
Well, in this instance, what is required of us by the law is where we find a suspicion, we must then refer it to law enforcement, because we don't do criminal investigations. Yes, we do investigations into maladministration, governance-related, prevention of corruption, being able to establish whether there is a suspicion that this might be a corrupt activity, and then our duty is then to pass it on to law enforcement, because that then becomes a criminal aspect.
Yeah. Are you able to say who the beneficiaries are that you make reference to in that remedial action?
No, I'm not able to say, because it is not the beneficiaries whom we're investigating. It is really the state and those who are doing business with the state, and that is the relation, because our mandate, in line with the Constitution, it is to investigate malfeasance in state affairs. So hence, the Act makes provision for us to make referrals to law enforcement who have a broader mandate.
All right. Was the Public Protector able to ascertain the value of the work that has been done?
No, we've not ascertained the value of the work that has been done. That is also part of the work that the Hawks is conducting, because they obviously have to establish how much is it that really was embezzled in this respect.
Yeah, and I asked that question also on the basis, a public protector, of the remedial action or the recommendation, the term that is used, to ensure the reconstruction of the stadium. So if you have the Hawks investigating, the SIU investigating, the public protector investigating, the value of what has already been done, I believe, is important, considering that there is a recommendation to rebuild the stadium.
Most definitely. The value has got to be established. If you look, we also have got a remedial action to the municipality that they need to declare the wasteful and irregular expenditure. So they need to determine how much was wasted in this regard. So they also have got the responsibility to establish that. But, we need to ensure social justice. The people of Enoch and Mgijima did not embezzle the money. They were not involved in the corrupt activity. The state or the municipality in this regard had a responsibility and had budgeted to build this facility for the interest of the young people and the people of that area. It is a need. It is a need in terms of their mental wellness, physical wellness, and development in general, and knowing the importance of sports in the development of human beings. There is that responsibility, and we need to ensure that responsibility is discharged. But yes, there is a responsibility for the municipality to then establish how far the waste had gone and ensure that they declare that money.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Advocate